Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are starting off a new section, which is the core services for OCI. And starting with the first and most important one are the computing services. So first on our list, we have virtual machines. So virtual machines is a multi-tenant server running a hypervisor layer. So the idea here is you choose your OS virtual image and you launch your server. You share the cost with other customers, so you save. So anytime you launch a server, this is generally the go-to server that you're going to want to launch because it's the most cost-effective and the most flexible. If you don't understand what a hypervisor layer is right now, do not worry. We're going to talk about it shortly. Next, we have container engines. So this service for OCI is basically Docker as a service. It allows you to run Docker containers on a virtual machine. So this is very popular for microservice or containerized architecture. Then we have the OCI Functions Service. So this is serverless compute. You just upload your code and the cloud provider takes care of the rest. So the code is designed to run for a short period of time, and you choose a managed container with a runtime. So if you have Ruby code, you upload your Ruby code. I don't know if they support Ruby, but as an example, you would upload your code, it would run it, and then it would stop. But the idea is that it's a lot more cost effective than a virtual machine, and it's just also a lot less responsibility for you. Then we have dedicated virtual hosts. So this is a single tenant server that is running a hypervisor layer where you can run multiple virtual machines. You don't share the server with anyone else, so you get greater security and performance are guaranteed, but you can still run your own virtual machines. And last on our list is bare metal. So bare metal is a dedicated server that has no hypervisor layer. So bare metal allows you to provide your applications with direct access to the processor and memory resources underlying server. And this is suited for specialized workloads where the hypervisor would hinder performance. So some people, they just really want the original server, you know, like there's nothing on it and they can configure it and they have that option. So remember earlier when we talked about the evolution of servers and I said that everybody's still using everything? Well, this is that perfect example of that. But let's get more into the details as to, you know, why we would want to use one type of setup over another. So now what I want to do is help you decide which computing service you should choose based on the level of control or responsibility you want to have. The more control you have over security and configuration, the more responsibility you're going to have, the more time it's going to take for you to maintain and spend money on those resources. So if you can let OCI do it, I definitely recommend it for you. And across the top, we have bare metal, dedicated virtual hosts, VMs. VM is short for virtual machine. You'll hear me use that abbreviation a lot in this course. Container engines and functions. And so the first thing we want to look at is your code. So you are always responsible for your code no matter what computing service that you choose. So just be aware of that. The next is app container. And when I'm saying container, I'm using this in a very generalized term. Maybe we're talking about containers as being the VM or whatever. But the point is that all the way up to functions is the only time that OCI is responsible for it. So if you want to use containers, or sorry, if you do not want to manage your container, use the functions. The next layer is your runtime. A runtime is, it's like your settings. So your environment variables, common libraries, directory structure, networking neighbors, all those sorts of configurations on your OS. And so you have less control when you're using the container engine service or the functions service. Next is your operating system. And so for your operating system, if you're using bare metal, dedicated virtual hosts, or VMs, you have more control over what OS you choose. Then down below, we have virtualization. So virtualization is being taken care of for you by OCI with the VMs and the dedicated virtual host. There is no virtualization on bare metal. So if you do want to have it, you're going to have to add that hypervisor layer yourself. So there you go. That is the idea with level control for computing services.